I want to discuss mindset theory and 4 phases that we naturally go through as we try to achieve our goals. Now, the mindset theory of action phases, or MAP, was developed out of the earlier Rubicon model by a university professor out of NYU, Peter Gollwitzer. He's been working in this field for around 50 years. The theory is based on a distinction between motivation and volition, between the mindsets of deliberation and implementation. The theory proposes that we use a different mindset to establish or reflect on our goals versus when we move to develop plans and take actions. To explain the theory, I'm going to use the example of Julius Caesar and his march on Rome. The reason is that it fits nicely with building off the earlier Rubicon model. To begin, we start with the predecision phase, and this is all about goal setting. In this phase, your mindset is deliberative. This is more open-minded, and it's where you're generating potential goals, looking at desirability and feasibility of the goal. You're asking questions like, can I conquer Rome? Or, what are some other options? Next, we move to phase 2, which is pre-action. This is all about goal striving. Your mindset shifts from deliberation to implementation. You're now focused on action, on developing a plan, and this is a little bit more closed-minded. You're actually crossing the Rubicon. You're asking questions like, how do I conquer Rome? When it comes to crossing the Rubicon, this is based on the historical accounts of Julius Caesar in 49 BC, and the idea that once he made the decision to send troops across the Rubicon River, he was then fully committed to the goal of conquering Rome. There was no turning back or changing his mind, because once he had crossed, word would quickly travel to Rome and he would be seen as a traitor. This is also where, after crossing, he supposedly said some variation of, the die has been cast. Today, crossing the Rubicon is used as a metaphor for fully committing to a goal, or in the case of MAP, it is when we shift from deliberation in phase 1 to the mindset of implementation in phase 2. After phase 2, we initiate goal-oriented action as we move to phase 3. We continue with our goal striving, and our mindset continues to be implementation. In this phase, we initiate action. We're still more closed-minded, but now we're monitoring feedback and we're adjusting. It's in this phase that we're actually executing our plan, and we're asking questions like, how am I doing? Or what do I need to change? As we complete our goal-oriented actions, we move to phase 4, and this is post-action. This is where we move to goal evaluation, and our mindset shifts back from implementation to deliberation. In this phase, we're more open-minded, and we're focused on lessons learned. We're reflecting on whether or not we achieved our goal. We're asking questions like, did I conquer Rome? And if not, is the goal still desirable and feasible? Ultimately, the theory suggests that once we close out the final phase, it then becomes a matter of returning to the first phase, where we begin deliberating the next goal. After conquering Rome, it's on to becoming emperor and then expanding the Roman Empire. As a theory, I like MAP. It offers a lot of value, but like all theories, we need to be open to any limitations and discuss some considerations. First, MAP is more descriptive than prescriptive. It doesn't really say much about how we might improve. It's more theoretical than applied. Next, a reasonable criticism is that the phases to some degree must overlap or be interdependent. It's not actually a linear process where we go from step 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. For example, in order to decide that something is feasible in the first phase, you must have some mental plan of how to proceed. But according to the theory, planning does not occur until phase 2, after goal commitment. Limitations aside, the value of mindsets is supported by a lot of different research. For example, research by Adrian de Groot on chess players showed a similar process, shifting between a more open and closed-minded perspective. Research on dual process theory offers a similar take, as well as Gary Klein's work on naturalistic decision-making, where he found that we can shift rapidly between intuition and deliberation. In addition, MAP has led to developing at least 2 tools that can be used to improve performance. One is mental contrasting. This has been found effective during the motivational phases of deliberation. The second is the use of implementation intentions, also known as if-then planning. These have been found to improve performance during volitional phases, during goal-oriented action. For additional resources and to learn how to use mental contrasting and if-then planning, you can check out the links in the description. Last, before you leave, make sure to subscribe. And thanks for stopping by.